Alright everyone, welcome back to Math with Mr. Oldenburg again. Today we're going to evaluate expressions. By the way, I don't know why this keeps going up here whenever I save these things. That's not me doing it, that's the program. Another thing I want to let you know, stick around to the end of the video again because I will do the do nows for you. Today we're going to do adding and subtracting decimals that require annexing zeros as a quick review. So today, the big change is we're going to start adding brackets and braces to our order of operation questions. Here, a quick little review of basic PEMDAS order of operations. One of the things we want to do is evaluate or evaluating expressions. This is an expression because it doesn't have an equal sign. We evaluate these because you don't solve them. They don't equal something. You just evaluate to see what you get. The reason we evaluate is because a lot of times what they're going to do is give you a variable instead of a number, and then you'd have to solve for that. So, things you need to know. To remember the order of operations, we use the acronym PEMDAS. We do all parentheses and exponents first. We do all multiplication and division next, and then all addition and subtraction. And we always do this from left to right. Also, I want you to make sure that you're rewriting your problem every time you change something to make sure you don't forget something. So when I look at this problem and I read it from left to right, I notice that as I start from the left, I go to the right, I see a set of parentheses. So whatever in the parentheses is going to happen first. I draw my caret, I do my math, I bring down the rest of the problem. I reevaluate. Evaluate. I have addition, I have multiplication. Multiplication comes before addition. 4 times 4 is 16, that was terrible. 16, bring down the rest. And then for the last one, you could always just write it horizontally. Alright, so this is what I was talking about before. Today we are going to start doing brackets and braces. What you're going to notice right here, these are brackets. Alright, they kind of look like a pulled apart square. In class I talked about how you have a foot, a sock, and a shoe. Well, just like a foot, a sock, and a shoe, parentheses have different kinds, like brackets and braces, and you put them within each other. So your foot could be like, come on. Your foot could be like the parentheses. And then over the shoe, you put a sock. Well, over the parentheses, you put braces. And finally, over the sock, you put a shoe. And over the brackets, you'd put your braces. Also, don't worry too much about drawing your braces incorrectly. They're not the easiest thing in the world to draw. Good morning, Mr. Hewer. All right, well, thank you, Mr. Hewer, for interrupting my wonderful video. So, the foot analogy, all right? Foot, sock, shoes. Each one goes over another. Same thing with your braces, brackets, and parentheses. The brackets go over your parentheses. So if the parentheses are the foot, you put the sock over it. Still going to do what's in here first. So when I look at this, I have 7 times 2, which we know is 14. I'll do it down here. 14. Then I need to copy what's left in the bracket and then put the bracket. Then the rest of the problem. Every step should be copied, guys. Then do what's in the braces. Now the braces go away because everything inside is finished. Continue copying the rest. Then, reading from left to right, I have, oh man, I pushed the right button. Addition, division, multiplication. Multiplication and division go first. From left to right, this division is going to happen first. 8 divided by 2 is 4 times 3 plus 11. Multiplication before addition. 11 plus 12, 23. So it's basically the same thing we were doing yesterday, except for that now you have brackets to deal with. And braces. And braces hurt. But if you take ibuprofen, it'll be fine. So this just says explain the steps. A lot of you tried to solve this right away. They don't want you to solve it. They just want you to explain what to do. Well, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to do 4 plus 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is add. The next thing I'm going to do after I add is what's ever in my brace. And what's in my brace? Subtraction. And finally, on the outside, multiplication. Would the value of this expression change if I took away the parentheses? Absolutely. And the reason being is I have to do the parentheses first, which means I'm going to subtract, right? Of course. But if I took these away, and there were no parentheses saying to do it first, before subtraction, you need to divide. Because when I think of the order, division comes before subtraction or addition, right? So, everything would change because my first step would be 4 divided by 4 instead of 12 minus 4. It's erasing music time, filling the void of auto quality with some terrible singing by me. You should really get like real erasing music, right? I'm doing this fast. I gotta go pick up kids. I have to go get you guys at art. So I'm gonna take a time out and then come back to this during lunch to show you the rest. So let's leave it here a sec. Alright, so let's finish this up. So what do we see? We see some brackets. We see some parentheses. The parentheses have to be done inside the bracket because even though this is being done first, this is being done first inside of the brackets. So I don't really have extra paper like you, so I'll just zoom in a lot. 6 minus 1 is 5 times 7. Don't forget to keep your brackets. Plus 100. 35 plus 100 equals 135. The next one I'll do right there because it's short and sweet. Multiplication comes before addition. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 17 is 29, with a really gross looking 9. This is erasing music, it's erasing music, it's erasing music. All right. So, 8 plus 1 plus 9 times 7. We have parentheses, they're happening first. We get 9, and we get to drop the parentheses because they're gone. Multiplication comes before addition. 63 plus 9, 72. The next one's longer, so we're going to erase it, and we're going to have more room to do it anyway. Erase the music, yay. Alright, so the biggest thing you have to remember when you get a problem like this is to make sure you're copying it correctly. You're going to notice that there's 3 sets of parentheses here. Parentheses, brackets, and braces. To draw a brace correctly, you would draw it like this. Kind of looks like someone's face. But it's not easy for you kids. So if I see a little squiggly line, it's fine. I know what you mean. Don't kill yourself over, it's not perfect, because we all get it. So, I have to do what's inside of everything first. So as I look down at this problem, I see I got braces, brackets, and parentheses all within. Like I asked in class, what's the last thing we're going to do? Well, we're going to multiply by 6 last. And how do I know? Because this is telling me, hey, do everything in here first. This is the only thing hanging outside, so it's got to be the last thing being done. So we go inside our parentheses. 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2, which is in the braces. Then I gotta remember, the brackets, sorry. Then I gotta bring my braces over. And my multiply by 6. Then I'm gonna do the next step, which is inside the brackets. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Keep your braces. It's not easy doing that on the iPad. And then 6 plus 3 is 9. I get rid of my braces. Multiply by 6, 54. So, today, we did 2 different division problems. The first one we did was an addition problem, and it was 6 and 9/10 plus 4 and 21/100. And the reason I gave it to you was because a lot of students are not comparing the numbers first. The most important part of adding any decimal is to line up the decimals before you do anything. And that goes for subtraction as well. When I compare these two, 6 is greater than 4, and it should go on top. And when I place the bottom number, a lot of times you guys think, oh, well, it's got to go up top because, there's nothing there and it looks weird and I got to move it to the right. And you know what happens? You get this, which is completely wrong, because then you're adding, let me get my pointer, 6 to 2/10. It's not even the same thing. But you'd think second grade, no, everything goes to the right. And it's not true anymore. It's the decimal that dictates where numbers are lined up. Not that you just throw everything all to the right. Okay, ba-ba-da. So, there's an imaginary 0 here. We can annex a 0 if you want. We bring down our decimal. 1 plus nothing is 1. 9 plus 2 is 11. 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 1 is 11. Fun. Let's just add a page so I don't have to erase. Even though I know how much you like my erasure music. Then I gave you a subtraction problem. 3 and 1/10 minus 1 and 11/100. And I did this for the same reason. 3 is greater than 1. That is your top value. Because in the end, I won't be able to take 3 away from 1. I line up my decimals. Now, common mistake. What's the first thing a kid's going to do? They're going to bring the 1 down, because they're going to say 0 minus 1 is 1, which isn't true, because you can't take something from nothing. So, you have to annex a 0. Now I can subtract. I have to regroup. I have to regroup again. Notice I do it one at a time. The reason that I regroup one at a time is if you do the whole line straight across, you end up making a mistake or missing something. So do it one at a time, because a lot of times what will happen is you guys will write a 9 here for some reason. Even though it was a 1, it should have been a 10. You'll cross this out, you'll write 9. Alright, so one place value at a time, guys. Alright? Hope you enjoyed this. Have a good one.